Hey, what's going on, Flawless fam? Will here, Flawless Exotic Creations, coming to you guys with another video. And this week, we want to concentrate more or less toward the beginner breeders, intermediate breeders, but more so the beginner breeders. Now, the beginner breeders, like ourselves, we want to speak on this topic because we ran into this topic, and it really would have helped to hear it come from anyone really out there in the ball python world when we got into the ball pythons. But the number one thing you need to have across the board if you're interested in this hobby, in this industry, is going to be patience. Patience, I mean literally across the board. Definitely when you're working projects, definitely when you're really psyched, focused, and you know, maybe a certain male won't breed or a certain female won't lock, won't lay year after year. You gotta exercise patience, but while doing so, you want to also increase your odds of things being successful for you. Only way to increase your odds for things to really be successful for you as a beginner is to increase your education level. Unfortunately and fortunately at the same time, if you do enough research on ball pythons, you'll get contradicting statements, contradicting research. All we can tell you is our real life experience. And personally, I would not suggest everybody, 100% of the keepers and new breeders out there, to do it the way we've done it so far. It just works for us. We, Audra and myself, do a lot of research. I definitely do a lot of online research, watch a ton of videos, browse through a ton of books, and try to get out there and network and educate myself across several different topics pertaining to this industry. That being said, I'm also a really good hands-on person, very visual. You know, if I see something built, I can build it pretty much without reading and knowing all the other fundamentals that you probably need to know. Very visual person, but that has benefited us tremendously as well. So wanted to come to you guys from the vault to talk about a main topic: patience. We have, especially when it comes to feeding and your ball pythons not eating. Earlier stages, we really didn't face too many non-feeders. We dealt with some picky eaters as we were purchasing our babies and, you know, juvenile babies. And one in particular we purchased from a breeder. Unfortunately, I mean, we're not in the business of putting out bad vibes. It's one of them things where the breeder never did anything specifically to us. Huge fan of what they're doing in the hobby, but as far as personal experience, probably won't deal with them as far as purchasing snakes again. She's amazing, and it's not really her, the snake that we have from them. It's just we have several snakes from them, and you know, when certain snakes come in, they're kind of undersized. Now we know, because we have experience with what it's like to hatch a snake. First, for snakes to lay eggs for you, them to come out of the eggs, what weight range they should be in a certain time frame. Maybe even if they are slow starters, but you know, a good rule of thumb here it is 2024. I mean, if we have 2022 snakes, there's no reason, I don't care what month in 2022 that snake hatched out, there's no reason that snake in 2024 should be 200 grams, for example. But this is not specifically tailored toward that. This is to give you some information, so when you see different things, whether it's at a show, in person, a friend of yours, or a morph market, you can steer away from certain things or towards certain things. But this specific female we purchased as a baby, and again, it's not a knock on the breeder. This is one of them things we want to put out there so you can gain experience as a beginner. And she's been our biggest issue eater feeder ever. I'll bring her out. This girl is the last. Got a little dirty face. This is the last of our albinos. Well, we have an albino tri-stripe male that's a breeder. He's putting in some work, but as far as girls and pushing the albino line, we're not really working albino anymore. We're steering away from it. It's just for us, and this girl is absolutely beautiful. She is currently now finally touching 300 grams. She's an albino Quake Raven girl, and she's absolutely beautiful. And she's finally growing for us, so I won't even bother her too much. But this girl here is actually an early 2023. And we just recently got her eating on a regular basis. I'll put her up before she decides to not eat this week. So we got her eating on a regular basis, guys. We have pretty much everything at our fingertips for the most part. We don't feed ASFs. Nothing in our collection eats ASFs. We've never had to resort to trying to find ASFs. We have mice, we have rats. We don't have any issues as far as food choices as far as with these guys. Maybe it would have been different results if I had ASFs. But got that female last year. She's been with us now probably close to a year. And shoot, I'll tell you right now, she's in a year, she's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. She's had 18 feedings within a year. But out of those 18 feedings, 16-ish of them are literally the last 4 months. So I go to show you that to have patience with these living, breeding animals, because everything isn't going to eat every single week, and we understand that. That girl probably went 5 months, 6 months. We offered her different things, and different sizes, mouse, pup, and it literally, kept her clean, met all her needs. Put her in a bigger enclosure, put her in a smaller tub. Decided to keep her in a smaller tub because she was really, really small, and they like small spaces. And out of nowhere, she decided it was time for her to eat. So it's really important for you guys to have patience. For us, it really helps that we have so many. This is why I was saying that this method does not work for everyone. And why do I say it helps us that we have so many? Because another tip, long as you're keeping your animal, you're checking up on them, making sure they're okay, all their needs are being met. You want to make sure that everything, their heat pad is on a thermostat. You're checking to make sure everything's in the right temp range. But that doesn't mean that every day you should be going in there and, oh, okay, she's good. Okay, she's good. Wait a minute. You don't want to keep doing that because it's going to bother them and keep them from getting acclimated to their new surroundings. You kind of want to be able to leave them be, making sure they have their water, making sure they have their hides, making sure they feel safe as possible. That being said, it still took this female 5 months to decide for it to click in her brain that I need to eat. And she started eating, and now she eats weekly, and she's growing, and she's absolutely beautiful. Luckily for us, that was one of Audra's passion projects. She just had to have that beautiful snake, and we have the space to be able to do some of that. We don't really have very many. Actually, it's probably the only one at this point now where it's like, oh, I have to have that snake. It's not for a specific project, but I just want that one. And you got to do what you got to do when the boss says she wants something, got to go get it. So the number one thing we want to communicate in this video is have patience. You never know how long it's going to be, and that's across the board. Whether that means have patience with the babies or your juveniles or your full-grown snakes that you have. As far as eating, they can go long periods of time missing meals. You do want to make sure they have the perfect parameters around them, situation around them, environment around them to ensure that they want to eat. Space is also another key component. Smaller spaces are better if you have non-feeders, to get them adjusted to wanting to eat, and then after they start eating on a regular basis, you start graduating them up. Another good rule, a tip for graduating them up, just from our experience, wait for them to go in the shed. when they go in the shed and they shed out and they poop, when you swap them, you upgrade their tub into new bedding, new water, new settings. Offer them food on your next feeding day. They may not take that meal. It's okay. Patience, again. Don't worry about it. Don't struggle. Next feeding day, typically they take the meal. But if they don't, it's still okay. We have a rule of thumb. We wait to the third missed meal and then we bring them back down to the previous tub. And 100% of the time so far, if we have to bring them back down, they literally eat back in that smaller tub. So all we do, we play that cat and mouse game. We keep them in the smaller tub, wait until they go in the shed again, and then we play the game of trying to move them up again after they come out of shed. That's the two big things we wanted to put out there. And for the very last topic to close this video, enjoy your animals, enjoy your ball pythons, but make sure you understand that we want to communicate out there. We get a ton of messages actually from people that just want to learn about the industry and the hobby. Not even existing customers, not even potential customers. They just want information, and we give them tons of information. We go back and forth with emails and messages. We love it. This is what we're doing this for: education and information, putting it out there into the atmosphere. That being said, there's a lot of people that don't understand ball pythons as a whole. Every species is different. Thankfully enough, we got into the ball pythons and we love it. For us, our experience, just our experience, we've never had a mean ball python. To this day, we've never had a mean ball python. Over 200 ball pythons, we do not have a mean ball python. We've found that typically there's about 3 different phases with your ball python. Especially when they're in their enclosure or in their tubs, you open it up or you getting ready to go. They think they're going to be fed. So they're in feeding mode. So they're snapping their necks around, they're looking around thinking that a rodent is about to be presented, and they're excited. They want to eat. They may mistake your finger, your hand. We create body heat and they are attracted to body heat or heat in general with their heat pits, which in return can, I guess, spark a feeding response. You may get bit, nipped, but that's all it is. They're looking for food. Or the other scenario, they're scared. They're ball pythons. When they're in fear, they go into a ball, try to protect their heads, try to protect themselves. That's the way that they protect themselves. And then the third phase is you grab them, you pull them out, and for the most part, they start to explore a little bit, move around, attach themselves to you. They recognize there's no food present, there's no food in the room, they can't smell it, and they're just pretty much being adventurous. So we want to put that aspect out in this video to hopefully bring more people into the hobby, be more accepting of ball pythons and less fearful. This girl here, Pastel, lesser blackhead het clown. She's nesting and she's in shed, so she's just chilling. Little big girl. Figure we'll peek through a couple of these tubs. Like I said, white means in shed. Here it is. Let's see. Ultra male pie, one of our big ultra male pie. Let's see. We always eat it out slowly. Look, and she's toward the front of this tub. Look, so that's what I would call feeding mode, and I gotta swap out her water. So that's feeding mode. She's looking for a rodent. Swap out that water. Let's see. And let's see. Clown pie girl. She's toward the big another tub. Look, you touch her, she goes into hiding mode. Wants to protect her head. And look, she notices there's no food. Nice size girl. There's no food. She just wants to chill out. She knows she's not being hurt. She just wants to chill. Ball pythons are not vicious. They are not mean by nature at all. None of the ball pythons we have in our collection have ever been mean. So hey, comment down below your experiences with, tub sizes, enclosure sizes, your experiences with slow feeders to click on. I've heard stories, some people hatching out ball pythons 26 grams out the egg, and it's been a long road, and 2 years in, they're off and running, they're gaining size and catching up to their litter mates. So there's a lot of success stories out there. What I found though, the fewer snakes people tend to have, the newer people like ourselves, you tend to gawk over them, and steadily you're disrupting what they have going on, and that can definitely backfire. So I don't know, we just wanted to put it out there and hopefully help the masses if you're having these issues. But anyway, it's Will, Flawless Exotic Creations, and we out.